Being aware of your ego and then letting it go is critical to manifesting effortlessly and easily. Hey, I'm Dan. Welcome. I talk about manifestation, conscious creation, intentional living, all that good stuff. So glad you found me. And today I really want to start off on the topic of awareness of the ego, because we all have awareness of this thing called the ego. So let's first talk about ego, and then how letting it go is actually going to speed up and help us manifest so much easier and make it so much more effortless. Okay, so ego, what is it? Essentially, ego is this identity that we've taken on. It's an illusion that we trick ourselves into thinking that that is who we are. Our identity, my name, what I think, what I feel, all of these are just ego thoughts. So oftentimes when there's a negative circumstance that pops up, we latch on, we think bad thoughts about it, we think negative thoughts about it. Oh my God, like this thing happened, what am I gonna do? I can't get from here to there. It doesn't matter what it is, it's just, those are just ego thoughts. Now, I want you to take just 1 second here and think in your mind. Who is thinking those thoughts? Who is thinking those thoughts? That's awareness. That's awareness. We are actually not the ego. If we were to go into a coma and we got amnesia when we woke up, we don't know our name, we don't know our age, we don't know our family members, we don't know anything. Our memory is wiped, right? We wake up. But we're still alive. We're still there. We just don't have that identity. That's an illusion. That identity is ego. It's a form of ego. So you have to be aware of that. Applying this to manifesting is critical because it helps us detach from the old version. Remember, manifestation is about detaching and letting go of the old identity that doesn't have what we want to manifest. And part 2 is embodying the version of us that does have what we want to manifest. But we're not talking about that today. We're talking about how we can apply awareness of the ego in order to help us manifest. And this is about the first part. It is about detaching from that old identity. Because as soon as we are aware of the old identity, aware of the ego, we can just say, oh, hold on. It's not going to spiral into that direction because that's not even me. It becomes so much easier to say, oh wait, hold on, that's an ego thought. Anytime circumstances around you, anytime reality does not sync up with what we want and it's making us feel bad about it, we let it go. We let it go by simply becoming aware of the ego. Yes, you can do shadow work. Yes, you can do psychotherapy. I'm not saying if you really have, depression or these clinical circumstances in your life that you really need some external help, definitely go do that. But you have to also understand that being aware that a lot of these thoughts are simply not you because you're taking upon that identity to be you, that is just the ego's thoughts. That's just the ego's feelings. And yes, sometimes it is easier said than done. I totally get that, right? But it is a critical concept in order to manifest easily and effortlessly. So next time these thoughts pop up, what I like to say is, oh, wait, that's just ego talking again. Oh, that's just ego feeling again. That's not actually me, right? I can choose who I am. I can choose because I'm awareness. I'm state of being. I am everything. I am all that is, right? I can choose in any moment what identity I want to put on myself. That's it. But you have to be aware of the ego first. And by being aware of the ego, you actually separate and detach yourself from it. And it becomes a lot easier to detach from the state of being where you don't have what you want to manifest. And that is why it's so critical to helping you detach from that. Because once you get past that point, guess what? It becomes so much easier to then embody the new identity, that new version of you that does have what you want to manifest. And if that new version of you that has already what you want to manifest, and it happens, over time, you're saying, hey, I want to manifest something new. You can simply let go of that version as well, because that is also a form of ego, right? You can never get rid of ego, but you can always shift and change because you can be aware that you are not ego. But ego does have its place and purpose. I'm not going to get into that right now. But essentially what ego does is to help you navigate the 3D reality and live as an experienced life as separate from source and awareness. But I don't want to get into that right now because that's a much longer video. But what you have to understand is, you don't really even have to understand that to know that if you're just simply aware of the ego, that it's not really you, that it's just an illusion, it can help you manifest. Because you can just simply let go of your old identity, slip into a new identity that has what you want already, embody that, live as that, right? Embrace that form of ego. It's almost kind of like it's almost like a loophole. right? That all I'm saying is the ego is just an illusion. We don't have to keep identifying with the ego that we don't want, right? And being aware of that is what speeds up our manifestation. And we just keep living until we find something that we love. And we want to embody that. And then we live as that. And we change, we grow, because by experiencing that life that we think that we want to manifest, at some point in time, we might want to manifest something new. We want to live a different life. Again, letting go of that story. Letting go of that. Oh, being aware of the ego helps us to do that, right? So I hope this helps. We talked a lot about ego, being aware of it, and just identifying it. So practical tips would be whenever something pops up that's unfavorable to you, that doesn't sync up with the life that you want to have, just say, oh, that's just ego talking. That's just ego feeling. That's not really me, right? And go back into your state of being that's living as if you already have the thing you want to manifest. And that's how you can help yourself manifest so much effortlessly and easily by being aware of the ego.